Hello everybody, MGTOW Recluse, what's going on? Right now I am reading The Culture of Narcissism, and it's a really good book. You know, I still kind of lose the grasp of what narcissism is, but obviously it's someone who can't take the blame for the afflictions they put other people through, like the suffering that they put other people through, people who cause misery in others and never accept blame, and they'll gaslight other people, and that's a whole rabbit trail. But it's very insightful when it comes to I guess gender studies and philosophy. And I have a little formulaic set of notes here. It kind of reminds me of college, so I'm just going to go ahead and just kind of share some of my notes here with you. I'm in my car at the moment, and right now it's not like the best setup. I don't really have like a table or anything. I have my laptop just kind of like hurtled in my right arm, like I'm cradling it like a baby. But yeah, I'm reading The Culture of Narcissism, and it's an awesome book because it just talks about just for one, the id, the ego, and the superego. I was reading one part that made me think of one of my sisters, and it was mentioning in the book that the superego is society, so superego is the government, big daddy government, your own father. That's why the government is diminishing the role of the father, because they're trying to change the goalposts and create different rules. So in the displacement of the superego, which is like the voice of your father in your head, a lot of little girls that grow up with the id, which is the unconscious, all of those like hedonistic desires. I'm thinking hypergamy might tie into the id. This is all Freudian stuff, by the way. But you kind of have this combative, argumentative little child tyrant that wants to overcome the parent. And I totally remember being like that. I think that it's a developmental stage. I remember having disagreements with my father and having fantasies of physically beating him up, if he got old enough to be in a wheelchair. He never got into a wheelchair, but later on I identified with my father and empathized with his plight, and viewed him as more of a human being after I got my own apartment. I lived with an ex-girlfriend for a while, and just the hardships of being a man, and being disillusioned with females, and I don't know, he remained a blue pill person, but this is an aside. He even told me that maybe you want to get with a woman that already has a child, and that's not a misfortune that I want to bear. I don't want to deal with some other female's brood. I don't want to deal with that. Now, yeah, but I have a sister that has not overcome this. She apparently had a mental break. Now, I'm not trying to air my family issues, right? But I just think that it's important to bring up that this book really sheds light on, I think it's a cultural symptom of the disrespect of authority in general. If there's anybody that is an authoritative figure, we as a collective don't revere that anymore. Like I'm just speaking from America's perspective, I suppose. But as a people, we just we're not very nationalistic anymore. I was writing little notes. I might be skipping ahead a little ways, but I was just wondering if a war is the only thing that would unify us. And I don't think that at this point we'll ever have a national war, because things are just way too successful for companies and businesses to keep us in a state of consumerism from being anxious all the time and stuff like that, but I'm skipping around. But yeah, my main bullet points here, which I have to scroll up and down, and I don't care that I'm being transparent with this video because it's okay, because I'm learning and I'm just dealing. And I was very worried about my brain atrophying because I was drinking, and I did not drink today or yesterday, I don't believe. And you know, I smoked a little bit too, and my lungs don't feel good. They just don't. And I was just thinking about escapism. Now I'm totally skipping ahead, but yeah, trying to run away from your problems, just being an isolationist. It's in my name, MGTOW Recluse. I'm trying to not deal. I found out that trying not to deal with people in the society is actually kind of worse because it creates snowflakes. But I don't blame people for not wanting to expose themselves to unsavory interactions, like, you know, food service, or just people in general just kind of suck these days, right? And I have all kinds of agoraphobia, and just like I think too much and all that and stuff, and that's why I think MGTOW is kind of a bad community right now, because I don't think any true MGTOW really kind of sticks with it. I mean, I see a lot of people who are on YouTube who does stick with it, but I just think that as a person, as people, we need to grow and get into different things and just get into hobbies and branch out. But yeah, I'm not disparaging MGTOW. MGTOW's great. Let me check my times here. Okay, cool. I think I got enough time. But yeah, MGTOW's an echo chamber. I'm totally telling you that now. And yeah, scrolling through videos is mundane and repetitive at this point. I get way more out of reading philosophy, and yeah, I was totally into Left Side of the Brain, which is an esoteric Gnosticist. He was into esoteric Gnosticism, and he's kind of all about being like a little tribe. He's talking about his little jaguars and stuff, and I've decided that yeah, I don't know. Like, he's always like, hey, get new subscribers, and like, I need more subscribers and stuff. And I'm like, that's kind of tied into egotism. I always want to say egoism, but it's egotism. And if he's talking about not being like tied in with your ego, then why does he care about subscribers so much? But he is still a good YouTuber. I recommend checking out Left Side of the Brain. And yeah, John Humanity. I was looking at, I used to look at some of his stuff. He was looking into transvestigations and stuff there for a while. And he has a lot of good insight about narcissism. And I think narcissism is just kind of, I don't know, this book that I'm reading is tied in to philosophy. And I don't know, it's very interesting. You know, Arthur Schopenhauer and Friedrich Nietzsche, they are kind of tied in with the MGTOW philosophy as well, and that's what kind of got me into wanting to check out philosophy a little bit more. But apparently philosophy is kind of, I don't know, if everything is meaningless and kind of nihilistic anyway, then there's no point to even checking out philosophy, but I still find it interesting. But yeah. Growing up, yeah, talking about narcissism, I just grew up feeling like I was letting younger generations down. I was a part of a Boy Scout troop, and when younger kids came through, I felt like I was letting them down personally. And like, there's good reason why I felt that way. It's because I just knew as a culture that we're just kind of doing future generations a disservice by not being more firm with like boundaries and expectations, and enabling them, and being I guess hands-on. I'm having to do training with my job, and I'm having to be a little bit more self-aware of how I come across things. I'm not getting paid extra for my service, but you know what I'm saying, like I'm trying to help my fellow man, you know. But that's another side. But yeah, I just felt like I was letting younger generations down. I'm not totally blaming myself. It's a total societal, you know, society-based thing, just a far-reaching thing. But yeah, yeah, the bottom line is that as a people, we all need to grow up. I think that there's just unresolved issues and just I don't know, like I feel like my generation is thrown under the bus. At the end of the day, we don't really know how to be. I was wondering if a war is the only thing that would kind of recalibrate things to be how it's supposed to be. Yeah, I'm not advocating for war. It's just that I don't know. I get kind of impatient. Why does society have to keep going down this self-destructive path? You know, I already said that anxieties of foreign wars, you know, just kind of manipulates us and keeps us in a constant state of fear, so we spend more money. But this is all stuff that you guys already know. But the book actually mentions Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I remember studying that with my my psychology minor in college there. But us men are freed by feminism, so we are MGTOW and we're free to self-actualize. The hierarchy of needs was stating that once you have your basic needs that are met, which is like food, shelter, clothing, security, that you are free to self-actualize. But it seems like a lot of people just even combat, they don't want to self-actualize because they just want everything to be kind of served to them. But at the same time, they hate any kind of authority figure. It's kind of a dual thing. It's like how the book is talking about how females with feminism, they hate men, but at the same time expect men to be emotional, and it's kind of a double-edged thing too. Which is, I am totally just skipping ahead, but it gives you a good glimpse as to what the culture of narcissism has to offer. I recommend it. It has a lot of big words, and I'm all about highlighting used books if you can come across them, so you don't feel bad for kind of defacing a book. If I have like a book that's like in a good condition, I just totally don't bend the spine. I freak out. I'm one of those don't bend the spine of a book type people. I'm very particular about who I am as a person, and we can talk about that stuff later. Consumerism keeps us separate from self-actualization because the harder you have to work for material gains, the less you have for spiritual gains. And that was just my own little notes. I know it sounds kind of cliche. The book encourages the poor or disadvantaged to create a new set of rules. I advocate for the abolishment of the game itself, just as MGTOW philosophy celebrates, quote, walking away from the table. And I'm an advocate for seeking out alternative ways of doing things, and finding out different ways of existing is always intriguing me. Looking into anarchy type stuff, that's what I was looking into in my early 20s when I was being kind of rebellious. I was looking into crime think stuff, and let me check the time one more again. Yeah, we're good, man. We're good. I'm trying to can you tell that I'm kind of forcing the content and trying to get this as compact as possible? I feel like a lot of my videos don't have enough content behind them. So here I am just kind of trying to abridge some of my thoughts, and I think that you guys are benefiting through that. So yeah, I was journaling and reading at the same time when I was putting this together, and I think that's a good practice for me because it helps formulate my thoughts better, and it reminds me of college, which is awesome because you never stop learning. I don't want to stop learning. I do it for fun. Learning is fun, and we've been indoctrinated into thinking that learning is not fun. I just can't live with myself if I feel like my brain is just collapsing inside of itself or something. The book states that intimacy between men and women is an illusion. This is important, guys. The cult of intimacy creates suffering and the need for intimacy, and that, dude, yeah, that's totally what it is. Like, we're sold this idea that just chasing each other, men chasing women, that it's going to pay off somehow, when the chase itself is just the most crippling, most disappointing, most I guess life-altering thing for a MGTOW, because you end up getting like kind of slapped in the face about it. But it all depends on your circumstances. But anyway, society is lax on sex right now because of feminism. Feminism sexually liberated females, and this helped to create hookup culture, which created another outlet for escape, much like drugs or isolation. I guess you can lump in video games and stuff. I'm guilty of that. I'm not saying that video games are bad or anything, but yeah, it is one way of coping, I believe. Trying to escape mentally. I think watching movies and stuff. I don't think anybody. I don't know, I'm just thinking out loud about movies. There are cinephiles out there, people who watch movies a whole lot. One female said that she had the best sex with someone she knew very little of because she wasn't intimidated by feelings or to feel, quote, vulnerable. Females, man, they that's why they get with Chads and Tyrones or whatever the saying is, because they get bogged down with feelings. Females are stigmatized for they have this reputation for being like empathetic and wanting to have a relationship and all of this, and they just want to talk and everything, but they really don't. And then they demonize us men when we have emotions, and then they want us to open up, but then once we do open up and like remind them that we're people, they get uncomfortable about that, because like I guess they've been brainwashed into thinking that we're not human, or they, like, I don't know, man. It's just like existence itself is just this painful, embarrassing, guilty, layered thing. It's just this hurtful. I was thinking about this, man. Just like human existence in and of itself is just, like I said, painful. And that's kind of my goal in life, is just kind of minimize things, make things easy for myself, and just kind of like fade into obscurity. Just like, reach a certain point where you just ghost, where you just don't really, I'll have all of the videos that I want to upload, and just, I'm not trying to get attention necessarily. I just kind of want to put myself out there just to, that's an ego-driven thing too. I want to feel like I'm making a change in the world. I want to feel like I'm making a change in the world. And, this video is getting a little bit deeper than I thought it would go, but, that's tied into the ego. And I think that, if I could, conquer my own ego. Like, I keep telling myself I have little to no ego, but if I didn't, if I didn't have an ego, I wouldn't be posting a video right now. There's something behind that. I contend that resorting to promiscuous sex as an outlet is foolish because of the risk of STDs. I don't think that should be understated, because STD rates are getting higher. And, hey, I don't want to deal with that. That's just stress. So for me personally, I think that abstinence, just complete abstinence, is the best way to go. Call me old-fashioned, but I don't like hookup culture, because I ideally wanted, I put a little note here, I ideally wanted one source for affection and companionship. I wanted that one female that would just meet me halfway, and to, I could accept her faults as long as she can accept mine. But it just seems like things are so rigid with expectations towards men. That's just not fair. But feminism wants men to talk about their emotions. Okay, I already talked about this, but they're intimidated by dealing with men's emotions. So as men, we are troubled with initiating relationships with females. We're sacrificing parts of ourselves. There's a lot of us that try to talk to females, but in the process, they're just shedding little parts of their soul as they go, because it's all about the female. It's not about you, and we're trying to placate females, and at the end of the day, they self-justify with treating us as disposable workhorse cattle. This is stuff that us MGTOWs always talk about, and I don't want to go on end talking about it. It's just having to deal with feelings of being disposable. I mean, it just sucks, man. That's why I like focusing on different stuff, because it's like changing channels in your brain, man. I don't like to focus on the stuff for too long. Sometimes you got to take a step back from MGTOW just for personal health and stuff too, because I think you can like get back into red pill rage if you watch enough red pill, MGTOW videos. I got a good 10, 11 more minutes I can go, but so I can kind of slow down, but I kind of don't want to, because I'm kind of compiling everything together. But do you guys remember the Brave New World, or 1984, the Aldous Huxley Brave New World, and George Orwell's 1984? I believe it was Brave New World, where they were talking about sex orgies, society being, having these big old sex parties and stuff. I think it was kind of like as a control mechanism to kind of placate people, because like releasing sexual energy kind of like makes people more docile, I believe. And it's one of these rabbit trail things where the more you have sex, the more you want sex. And I feel like this is kind of the direction that society is going in, because we have to deal with just feminism and how females hate us, and at the same time we're supposed to deal with this like hookup culture where like it's these mixed messages, and it's crazy. I want to share my longer notes when it comes to this with what is it, if I can find it. Yeah, I feel like society is going into some weird direction with sex being viewed as a sport in order for the social engineers to fulfill agendas of having both genders accept more realistic demands of each other. I don't know if that would be a good idea, since sex is a rabbit trail, and the more you pursue sex, the more you want it. It won't fix the problem, and in all possibility, fueling the fire for hatred between the genders isn't going to go away anytime soon. We are doomed to a world of hating and desiring the opposite sex forever, as it seems. Like this whole like industry behind demonizing men and making females disappointed in us, and then at the same time hypersexualizing everything, where like supposedly the answer to everything is just this fleeting sexual moment just to escape. I don't see it going away. And hey, it's written in these books, which is kind of predictive pre-programming anyway. And I don't know, it's dystopian, and I don't like hookup culture. I think that most so-called MGTOWs, like if things were just a little bit better with the genders, yeah. I mean, I'm quoting other people in saying this, but yeah, if things were just a little bit better, we wouldn't be MGTOWs. I mean, why would I talk about females so much unless I wanted to be with one, really? You know what I'm saying? It's just, I'm so sick and tired of the way the world is, and the way that the world was meant to be. And I feel like we inherited this just cesspool, and it all, I don't know. I'm really kind of bitter, especially because I identify with Generation X, and but I'm Generation Y. I'm like first wave Generation Y. I was born in '84, just like George Orwell's 1984, right? And I feel like that was like when it was a real steep incline with my generation being thrown under the bus, because I feel like the Generation X still had just a little bit of like relationship. What's the word I'm trying to look for? Just things were a little bit more equitable between the genders, but at the same time, they never valued us for who we are. It's always been what we do, but maybe it's not in my particular set of DNA to accept being a workhorse, or maybe it's just an environment thing, because I grew up with 3 older sisters that never really acknowledged the things that I had to say, and always kind of looked down on me and stuff. There's a whole slew of issues that I have with my sisters, and I've tried to talk to them about it. And females just don't like talking about things in general, and they don't like generalizations either. If they were to listen to this video, they would be, oh, so offended. Oh, you can't generalize. Well, guess what? You can. You can if you have my kind of life experience. And a lot of men feel the way I do. So why don't you just, I don't know. I got, you can tell the hurt behind my voice when it comes to that stuff. So, but that's a hurt that is shared by all of us, and I'm not using the best vocabulary. That goes hand in hand with my insecurity, with my brain atrophying, which is kind of fueling my passion. I mean, I really want to read more so I can combat this this fear that I'm going to lose my mental stamina, because I've built it up so well, and now here I am just actively, tearing down the walls of my brain. But the brain is a plastic organ or whatever. But yeah, we need to go to the gym and get some oxygen to our brain. That's what we need. But yeah, we need to write things down and do better. I was on keto, and with ketogenesis, the keto diet, you could eat cheese and meat and stuff. So I've been backsliding, eating meat and cheese. But it's like, man, I shouldn't have ate as much as I did. You know what I mean? Because like I'm starting to gain, and you know, I just need to do better than that. But I am so off track with my subject here. Let's look at the time again. Yeah, we're good. But yeah, I'm not sure if there's any real point to this video, but I just want to share some thoughts and give a different insight that you know, a lot of MGTOW channels might not be offering. Yeah, I just appreciate you guys watching. But essentially, that's all I have to say. That's my little study session. I don't know what I'm gonna title this just yet, but I feel really good getting this out of the way, and this was kind of unexpected. I just feel like I'm on a good trajectory when it comes to you know, just journaling and reading at the same time and stuff, and just kind of sharing what I'm kind of learning. I don't want to feel like today is lost, because I feel like there are days that pass where you don't really get much done, or you didn't really learn anything, and it just feels like that's just another day that's just kind of lost in the wind. And ideally I want to learn something every day, and I guess I do on emotional levels, or I just, you know who to avoid, or just like specific things like that. But I really want to understand more about everything. Just want to learn everything, like plant names and stuff. I want to get like flashcards and learn plant names just to do it, you know, for fun, stuff like that. Learning and all that. So yeah, we're doing what we can, and we're just doing pretty good, just uploading videos. And I hope you guys are doing good. My brothers, you guys are awesome. Thanks for tuning in to the MGTOW Recluse channel.